Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm sure you guys saw the stories. Like at Comic-Con, you know, Dan DiDio was there, and apparently, like, the 52 is what 96% men have written these 52 comics. So that's the number, right? It's kind of ridiculous. Why is it? Here's my question. I know this is a long lead up, but why is it that there aren't more women in this creative space?
Well, first off, I want to say one of those women is a Womanthology creator, the fabulous Gail Simone.
Yeah, Gail Simone rules.
So, to be honest, there aren't a lot of female writers as a whole. I mean, I know there are a lot of us out there, but there are more female artists. When I just met Scott Lodell, and he said he wants to introduce you to his editor, because the editor is always looking for female writers. I think we just need, as a whole, more female writers to get out there. And we have tons of fabulous female artists, that's for sure. But then again, there's talent everywhere. I mean, I knew Jenna would be good at it. And I think that more women just need to apply themselves and just keep going. We have voices, and we need to make sure that they're loud and heard, and we need to present them eloquently.
So you don't think there's a bias? Like, I mean, you know, like a common defense I hear from men in the comic book space is like, well, if more women wrote, then there'd be more women writers from comics. Like, you don't see an editorial bias against women?
I think it depends. This is going to sound bad. I think it depends.
Then I love it. Let's do this. Let's cause some controversy, huh? Let's get on any cool news.
I think it depends on your content. If I wanted to write a female superhero going on and kicking butt, which I typically wouldn't use that word, if I wanted to write that, I would have an easier chance than say if I wanted to write a male superhero. Because what would a woman know about writing a man? But conversely, men are allowed to write women all the time, and some men shouldn't be writing women.
Like who? Name names?
We're good.
Very political.
No, I don't want to put your name out there if I don't like you. I'm killing you by not giving you any press.
That's a great answer. Well, let's go back to my original question. What was like the germination, the seed of thought, the genesis behind your anthology? What made that all come together?
Well, at the time I was working on another anthology called Low Orbit.
We have a lot of cows.
Oh, hey, well, come on and talk into this microphone, son.
Uh-oh.
I thought the cops were here for me. That's usually what happens.
Excuse me, guys. Is there a Sue Lin who's lost her child? Sue Lin, we found your child?
You got to do better than that. Hey, Sue Lin, we found your child, Sue Lin. Sue Lin, your child has been found. You got to be more sonorous.
Come up to the book fair. What is it?
The Comics Pavilion.
The Comics Pavilion. Come here.
Sue Lin, come to the Comics Pavilion, Sue Lin. We have found your child. And I'll give you a free comic if you come here too, if the child's not enough. You can have a free issue of The Devastator, a great comic book. All right, sorry, bro. Wow, that got dramatic for a second. Holy moly. Let's get back to fun things like comic books. Please continue, sir.
All right, I was working on an anthology called Low Orbit, which is very, very different. And I kind of want to do something different, something where it was all one genre and kind of go. Low Orbit was more cartoony. I wanted something more realistic and something with a harder edge as opposed to being all ages. And it started out as a 48-page little anthology, which I first pitched to Image and was shot down. And so I found another publisher, decided to make it a little bit bigger. It grew to about 240 pages. Wow. And we're now on the 3rd volume.
Hey, Sue! Neat! Sue, come up here. We have your prize.
I think she has her prize.
This is... Oh. Hey, what's your name, little guy?
What's your name?
Hey, that's my mom's name. Don't worry about it. She does it every time she sees me. Hey there. Oh, here's a copy of a comic book. It's called The Devastator. I write for... You don't need to read mine. It's not that good. And you can also have this sweet poster, huh? Aren't posters cool? You like posters, kiddo? Exactly. You're welcome. Hey, Sue, thanks for coming up here. Exactly. Oh, bring it in. Hey, give me pounds, huh? Hook me up with one of these? Yeah, love it. Hey, Sue there, everybody. Thank goodness. Enjoy the prizes. Hey, no problem, sir. No problem, Dan. Sorry about that.
Nice work.
I do not mean to be so rude. Please continue.
Anyway, the publisher I ended up going to, they didn't want to handle a book that size, so I left and went back to Image and said, well, how about now? And they said, okay. So yeah, it was more just I really wanted to do. I love westerns. I wanted to do something that was probably the worst idea possible. Westerns don't really sell. Anthologies don't really sell. Let's make a Western anthology. But it's doing pretty good, and I'm really happy with how it came out. I think it's a gorgeous book. I'm really proud of it.
Now you work with Image. Image, I don't know a ton about the industry, but I know that Image is a creator-owned label.
Yeah.
Now, for an anthology, how does that work? Does everybody own the rights to their story? I mean, like what happens with the rights and the payments and all that? Let's get a little bit deep into it.
Well, I don't know how every anthology works.
Oh, I mean yours specifically.
Mine, every creator owns their own story, unless they've worked out something with their artist ahead of time or their writer ahead of time. It's a 50-50 split. Everybody gets an equal cut. I don't take any cut as the editor.
You're doing this for free?
Yep.
Oh my, that's so nice of you, bro.
Well, that's one way to put it.
That's so dumb of you, bro.
There you go. So any money that book makes, it's evenly divided among everybody that's written and illustrated for the book. That's it.
Wow, that sounds like that's a really fair way to do it, you know?
I wanted to reward these guys because they were taking time out of their lives. They're all doing other projects. For them to work in another 8 pages as opposed to playing Xbox or sitting in front of the TV and just watching TV. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a lot of time. Making comics is hard. So I wanted to make the best, most attractive deal I possibly could.
Oh, I mean, you know, it sounds like it. And by the way, stepping away from the Xbox is very, very hard. I definitely agree with you. Sir, why don't you talk about the genesis of your idea? What inspired you to put together this anthology over another one, or you know, over perhaps your own character-driven book?
Actually, I didn't start Popgun. That was started by a couple guys named Mark Andrew Smith and Joe Keating. And when they were doing Volume 1, I somehow started kind of helping them and mostly proofreading and stuff. So I became their assistant editor, and then they asked me to write a story for it. I was like, awesome, because I've always wanted to be in comics. So I jumped at that, and then Volume 2 was similar as well. As the assistant pitched and wrote a story for it. And then with Volume 3, Joe got busy with other stuff, so I kind of got promoted to co-editor. And then Volume 4, so I co-edited that with Mark and me and Mark co-edited that. And then for Volume 4, I kind of started off as one of the main editors, which is really fun because I mean that's kind of like from the ground up. You know, I was able to pick out stories, and again, there's no theme, but part of the fun was kind of like finding the way to place the stories. You know, to kind of like create like emotional crescendos. Like it starts off really poppy and fast, and it's a little darker, and then ends triumphantly. You know, but all just like by different creators. It's really fun. I've met a lot of great people. I mean, like Michael worked on the pitch story and has stories in the Popgun books, and I pitched a story at Outlaw territory. So it's like little team ups and everything. But the most fun is really just meeting so many great writers and artists and colorists and letterers. To me, yeah, and I've become fans of people I never would have heard of had I not worked on these books. So, but it's all about fun, really. There's no money. It's just enjoy it, and it's cool to have comics and nice to have big books on the shelves that you kind of helped out on, you know.
I refuse to believe that people that make comic books aren't filthy rich, sir. I don't know
not from comics.
What lies you're trying to peddle here, sir. Now, you know, let's talk specifically a little bit about Flight, but in general, you know, let's start with Flight. Like, why Flight as a concept? What about that concept, you know, spoke to you and made you want to devote a lot of time to getting this thing made?
The first book, I always felt that there needed to be something like a Shonen Jump for the United States, and so I felt like Flight was kind of a hybrid of the Japanese and the French stuff, along with American animation. I don't know. I think that those three things, you know, it came together for the way that Flight feels and looks. I feel like anthologies do more to service the artists and the readers. And for us, we just did not have enough time to do our own graphic novels. Mm-hmm. Almost all of us would have rather have done our own books, but we just didn't think that we could. And so it was just a way for us to put something on the shelf. Really, it was just something so that we could have something for the Alternative Press Expo. this year's is actually happening this weekend in San Francisco.